Over the next 8 weeks, we're going to have the marketing, we're going to have the resources, we're going to talk about the money. And so when we say game on, that means you're ready to take your business to the next level. Bring your actual business plan in. Where do you want to go?
We came up with a plan to keep all of our commitments.
Show me the money. How many customers do you want to have? How much money do you want to make? Do you want to buy a building?
People are really scared of starting a website, but the website is everything.
Viagra spends millions of dollars in marketing.
What people buy into in your brand.
There are resources available.
Trying to match people with what it is that they need.
LinkedIn relationships matter.
We like to know who we're buying from and who we're doing business with.
We have 8 weeks. Ready, set, go. Hello, everyone.
Yes.
Hello and welcome. I'm so thrilled to be here and to see each and every one of you. I hope at some point we'll all have our cameras on because, you know, a big part of showing up for business is to literally show up. So even if we're not ready to put our cameras on today, which I hope we do so we can have a photo of the group, it will be great that at some point in the future. So Ruth, thank you for showing up. Felicia, Cynthia, is it Lusa or Lucia? Lusa? Thank you for Lucia, thank you. And Hetty, great to see you. And we have someone from the Black Nurses Alliance here. Thank you for showing up. This is great. Absolutely fantastic. So welcome everyone. You know, it's amazing as, you know, women and as Black women when we are in the space of entrepreneurship. And I'm serving as president of the BBPA, the Black Business and Professional Association, because I believe in the economy of women. I believe in women creating our own space, creating our own financial freedom, and a women's economy. It's so important to me because that is how I've really enabled my life. And that enablement makes me really want to do that for other people, women specifically that look like me. And so you'll hear a little bit about the story, my story, and why, you know, I wanted to, you know, share the story and the empowerment of women, Black women entrepreneurs. Very important. So I want to acknowledge, of course, the organization that I serve as president, the Black Business and Professional Association. We are a 38-year-old organization that has existed in Canada to create opportunities to address equity in the Black community and to create economic opportunities for Black people. Because, you know, for the last 38 years, we've been advocating and championing for equity in all areas, in government, in corporate sector, in private sector, in nonprofit sector for Black business people and professionals. And it gives me great pleasure to bring this program to all of you. Also, our partner in this is Ryerson, the Women Entrepreneurship Knowledge Hub. Wendy Suke is a great supporter of the BBPA, and with the work that she does at the Diversity Institute, supports and champions women. And when I sit at these tables, I sit specifically in the space of Black female entrepreneurs. I'm always pointing out that if this is happening for white women, imagine what it is for Black women. I say all the time that I have three uniqueness about me: is I'm Black, I'm a woman, and I'm a Black woman. Those are all very different things. All very different things. And so when we talk about equity and we talk about the space of equity for women, all women, we really have to have a unique lens of equity for Black women. I'm going to share my screen to begin. So how is everyone doing? So I know everyone will be on mute, and if you have any questions or comments, please do not hesitate to put it in the chat. Uju, who's here, who is our marketing associate, will read out the questions for us. Right, Uju?
Yes, definitely.
Thank you.
Yes, definitely.
Great. And yes, so if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to put them in the chat box and we will address them. But I want this to be a conversation. You know, when we started this, we planned to do it at the BBPA. But we recognize that some people are still, you know, a little bit uncomfortable about being in that environment. And if at some point we should convene, and maybe for the next 2 sessions we can do this online, but do weigh in as to your thoughts as to whether you'd like to meet in person when you're ready. Okay, but we would like to sort of build this tribe to meet online in person at some point. So maybe you could just put in the chat box, and Uju can read them out, how you're all feeling. So we'll start with that. How is everybody feeling today? Great to have you here.
Yeah, we have Cynthia from the West Coast, and she's happy to be here.
Fantastic.
And we have Monique, awesome. She's happy to be joining this program as well. You guys just let us know where you're joining in from, if it's from Toronto, Halifax, up north, wherever. Just let us know. We'll give you a shout. Awesome.
Wonderful.
A lot of Toronto folks in here. Hamilton, Markham, Brampton, Mississauga, Westside. I see you, Erica. And we have, a lot of Toronto as well. So Milton, Mr. Nadine. Nadine, we have your namesake here from Milton.
Exactly, 2 Nadines, that's wonderful.
Yes.
Great, thank you. Uju, I'm trying to navigate this to move it forward. Why isn't it not moving forward? Oh, there we are. So of course, today is week 1, and I say game on, because we are starting and embarking on a journey to talk about what success looks like in the entrepreneurial space. And as I stated before, that Black women, we're looking at it, entrepreneurship through the lens of being a Black woman. And so I'm a Black woman, and I know what it is that when I enter the space of, what I usually say corporate Canada or corporate America, what that nuance difference is. And because I work in the space of marketing and communications, I usually build out the business plans, build out even my persona towards in terms of what I see as mainstream, but always remembering that there is a nuanced way, especially when you're a Black woman, of conducting yourself in a particular space in order to grow from zero to it's a lifestyle or grassroots business, and then moving through the stage of medium enterprise to large enterprise. And so just to start a little bit, I wanted to sort of just discuss a little bit about, what the numbers of what it is like for Black women in businesses. So tech startups led by Black women received look at this, 0.00006% of the $424 billion in tech venture funding. 40% of Black women who request financing through a bank receive nothing, like zero. And that is double the number of the minority women who are denied financing. From 2007 to 2019, the number of firms owned by Black women increased by 164%, 3 times the growth rate for all women-owned businesses, and 10 times the rate of growth for non-minority owned businesses. So this is a very positive thing. It shows that, there is possibility, despite the numbers that are negative, for growth for Black women in business. And we have to take advantage of that opportunity and build on that. So, when we look at who are the famous Black business women, I don't know how many, you can give me a thumbs up, or you can do the hand things. How many of you seen the C.J. Walker movie, Madame C.J. Walker movie? I saw it about a month ago, and really inspiring to see that a Black woman at that time, with what race is and was and still is, was able to do what she did. And and as her motto says, perseverance is my motto. That despite the issue of race, and at the time segregation and all of that, she was still able to grow a successful business. And as we see, and if you read the book and the movies, you can see all the challenges she had, but despite the challenges, she was still able to succeed. And then who are the other business women? I don't know where this is delaying. The computer's not cooperating with the screen sharing. Uju, are you able to advance the slide? Because for some reason I am sharing the screen, but it's not advancing.
I don't think I can move you.
Oh, it's okay. I think I figured it out. Yeah.
Okay.
And so then we have another, very successful Black woman, Monique Rodriguez. She's the CEO of this wonderful hair care line and, doing extremely well. And then, we have individuals like Tracy Edmonds. I didn't put the usual, Oprah Winfrey. And in the Canadian context, I think what's interesting is that, we sort of need to do more to tell our stories, because in the Canadian context, we have individuals like Dolores Lawrence, we have Cheryl Kerr, who's our current business recipient for the the BBPA Harry Jerome Awards. And so it shows that it is possible as a Black woman, despite the challenges, to be an entrepreneur and succeed. It is possible. Then we have Stacey Brown Philpott, again, brilliant woman, CEO of TaskRabbit. They do extremely in the millions of dollars. And she said, I was surprised by the attention and visibility on me as a Black woman CEO. I look forward to the day when this is the norm and not the exception. So this is what we're working towards. This group in this program, we're looking forward to when it is the norm. It's not the anomaly that Black women in business can, that we're represented and that we can succeed, that is the norm, not, the one in so many. And again, we're looking at wanting to see more and more Canadians in the space. There's a lot of great American examples. So yes, here we are. It is possible. It is possible to succeed in business. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Nadine Spencer. I'm president of the Black Business and Professional Association. Number one, I'm a nana to the most gorgeous, gorgeous baby. I'm a mom. I'm the CEO of Brand EQ Agency, president of Black Business and Professional Association, and I have number 5 and 6 other things that I do. I sit on numerous boards. I mentor young women. But my journey being an entrepreneur, the reason why I champion entrepreneurship and I believe in the power of Black women owning a business, my journey into being an entrepreneur started when I was 12 years old. My mother, a Jamaican immigrant woman, moved to Canada for a better life. And in doing so, she made the difficult choice of leaving me with a friend of hers. And that woman did not do well by me. She just was not a good person. And one of the things that she had me do was she would send me to Spanish Town to buy Bammy. So Spanish Town is in my 12-year-old mind was like from here to Buffalo, but it was more like maybe from here to Mississauga. And she would send me with enough money to get there and to buy the cakes, but no money to get back. How she expected me to get back, I have no idea, maybe to walk back. So when I got to the first day when I was there, I sort of thought through, how am I going to manage this? I have no food. I have no money to get home. I just have enough money to buy these cakes. So I walked into the marketplace. When I got there, I went into the marketplace and I walked all through and I looked around and just saw what was happening. And so I made the decision that I would somehow try to enable for myself some chance. And so I went to the different Bammy vendors and I went to one woman and I said, listen, I'm going to come here on a regular basis and I'm going to make you the one person I buy from all the time. And will you give me a deal? The woman gave me a deal. So I bought, 13 cakes for the price of 10, something like that. And then I went to another part of the market and I bought parchment paper or brown paper bag. It was, I think. And then I packaged them up, two cakes in one parchment paper, and I sold them and I made money. And that's how I was able to feed myself and I was able to get home. And I continued to do that each week until I built what I called my little empire of lots of, coins and money. But I learned at the age of 12 that I had the ability to negotiate, to do what was necessary for my enablement, and that I would be able to make a living for myself. I earned money myself. And so, and in that situation, I was also able to, create, financial freedom for myself. And so I've always known that I would be a businesswoman. I've always known that because I see the liberation that can happen for me as a businesswoman. And, you know, many years later in 2016, when I got the BBPA Harry Drum Awards for business, it was incredible because I still see myself as that 12-year-old girl. And so there it was in 2016, I got, you know, the business award from the organization that, you know, that awards leaders in Canada in the Black space. That the highest award you can get in the Black community is a BBPA Harry Drum Award. And here it was, I'm the 12-year-old girl from Spanish Town that built nothing out of selling Bammies, and here I am getting this award. And so when that happened, and there was an opportunity to be president, and Pauline Christian, who was a president at the time, asked me if I would serve. I said, I'm here to serve in whatever capacity I can. And it was just incredible that I was able to, you know, use what I had, get the Harry Drum Awards, and then serve the organization as president. But I believe in the economy of women and of Black women, and I know that in this position that I'm in, it is like, this is, so I believe in God, and, you know, I know that God has chosen me. My purpose in life is to do this work, to enable women in terms of entrepreneurship. And so that is my story. And throughout the entire journey of the work that I do and with the organizations that I work with, it is about following that purpose. So here we are going to be working on, we have 8 weeks, and I'm just going to walk you through a little bit about what each week is going to look like. So I'll pause here for a moment, and I'd like just to, Uju, do you have the survey? I just wanted to check the temperature of the room and just to see how many entrepreneurs do we have here? How many people do we have in the space that has their own business? Or maybe you can just put it into the chat. How many of us have our own businesses? So there's the survey. Do you currently own your own business? Yes, no, not yet. Uju, are they answering all the questions at once, or?
Yeah, they can answer all at once because I feel like I launched everything at once. Okay.
Okay, so, all right, we have 13% of us voted, and we're at 18%. Continue.
Yeah, we have.
And then what are your major challenges to excelling in your business? And then, of course, the questions as to whether we continue online or in person. I'd love for everyone to answer. You know, we're at 18 out of 37. So if everyone could answer that question, specifically because I would like to know, you know, how many of you have a business? Because this entire 8 weeks that we're here together, it's all going to be geared to how we're going to work together to accelerate, grow your business, talking about all the nuanced things that you can do, all the tools, all the resources that can grow your business. So we have 29 out of 38, fantastic, 78%, we're looking for 100%. And I guess maybe if we could maybe pull someone out, so we're at 30 out of 37, which is great. And, you know, waiting to get to that number. And who would like to be brave enough to share with us about your business? Anyone who's here that would like to talk about your business, just, you know, tell me a little bit about your business. For the ones who have answered yes, we have 32 out of 37 that's responded. So 53% of us here in this room owns a business or have their current business. 19% no, and 41% not yet. So before we get into the other, you know, what are your major challenges and so forth, let's talk. I'm glad to see that 91% of you would like to meet in person. So maybe the next session, which is next Tuesday, we can meet in person. And after you see the things that you'll have waiting for you, I'm sure 100% of you will want to come in person. So Uju, maybe we'll stop here just for a little bit and have you just go into the chat and just read some of the comments from the chat.
Okay, so I think yes means they want to remain online, and no means in person. I should have clarified that question very well. So I'm going to end the poll here because I feel like we have 86% of participants who answered, and I'll go to the.
Yes, and someone wants to. It's Delofante wants to show the online the poll results. I'm happy to do that. Are you able to do that, Uju?
Yes, I can do that. Okay, so we're ending the poll now.
Oops,
So
fantastic. Great. So in the poll, we have 53% of us currently owning our own business. And then what are your major challenges to excelling in your business? 38%. Well, actually, it's interesting. We have 38% and tied equally with lack of access to capital, and also 38% lack of access to mentors, and 34% lack of access to business tools, and all of the above. We have 38%. It's interesting, quite a good spread, 12% all of the above, and 11 out of 32, which is 34%, says fear. That's great, thank you. So I wanted to pause here for a little bit and just, I'm gonna stop sharing the screen for a minute, just to see if anybody would, I don't have to stop sharing the screen actually, who would like to just, tell me a little bit about your business? Who here has a business and would like to share with us a little bit about their business?
Sure, I can if no one wants to.
Fantastic, thank you, Cynthia.
So my name is Cynthia. I'm living in Kelowna, BC, and I have an event planning business. And for the last couple of years, I have been working in-house for companies, corporations, institutions, municipal governments, and I decided to go freelance. And so, just trying to get clients that are a little bit larger scale, corporate clients, but also getting some capital to host my own events. So that way I have a little bit more control over the theme, the content, and obviously who I can choose as vendors, and I can dole some money out to people in our community. So I guess my goal is to be able to host my own events like festivals, bring in some big name reggae musicians, and just really showcase what we have to offer as a community. So yeah, that's my goal.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else would like to share a little bit about their business? And what's the name of your business, Cynthia?
It's my name, Cynthia Pottinger Events.
Great. Anybody else would like to talk about their business?
I'll go again. I'll go next.
Hi, Monique.
Hi. So my business is called WOW Empowerment Center. It stands for Watching Over Women. So it's based out in Toronto. It's pretty much for women who are sexual assault rape survivors. We're considered technically kind of like a social club. So we provide workshops, group sessions, resources, and then the biggest thing is events that we host, as well as we go on field trips. So it gives the women a chance to empower each other and not just focus on the negative, but kind of get ongoing support and have fun while doing it.
Fantastic. Sounds like very important work as well. Now, so you're the owner of that business?
Yes.
Wonderful. Excellent. Anybody else would like to share about their business?
Hi,
Felicia, go right ahead. Okay, so
Okay.
we have Felicia and then Caden. Okay, go ahead, Felicia.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. First of all, thank you so much for hosting and bringing us all together. I want to start, my business is a little bit different because it's not something that was built by me. I am in real estate. So, with each individual agent, we do have our own business. I've been growing a team, and our mission is not just to, sell homes. What we focused on is first-time home buyers and getting them into the market, predominantly focusing on women and people of color. The hardest thing is for them to get their foot into the market when it comes to, saving. Let's be honest, most of them have had a harder start than most people. So we're really focused on helping them make the transition into now, getting better credit, or rebuilding their credit, building up their down payment, putting them in touch with other individuals that can help them, and then ultimately building their financial portfolio. We are trying to help build and generate generational wealth. Super important. And, I think that's what kind of separates us. I don't think there's too many people too many agents that are focusing on that. So it is a little bit harder to find a mentor, someone that can understand, I think, and lend a hand. So that's what I put on my poll as one of my pain points there, is just, finding a mentor, someone that understands and is willing to, even help direct us and myself helping, all these people.
Great. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you very much. And next we had Kadian, I think. Was it you, Kadian?
Hi. Yeah, Kadian. Hi,
Yes.
guys. So my name is Kadian once again. I'm the owner of M&K Creative Designs. It's a retail online store that caters to Black women. Mugs, journals, bags, totes, all that stuff. My ultimate goal is really to teach young girls how to start their own business using craft. So for me, when we were talking about what we're looking for, I find that having capital and resources is really hard, especially when you're trying to build out something from what you already have. But my ultimate goal is to be able to provide some assistance and some training to young girls in craft trying to start their own business.
Great. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else before we move on?
I think I'll
I can go.
Great. So we'll have, who was that? That was Francesca, and then we'll have Black nurses. Yeah, go ahead, Francesca.
Thank you. My name is Francesca, and I am currently just started my own therapy practice, Ignite Counseling Services. I am a social worker, so I'm now doing psychotherapy, and I work with members of the Black community who are experiencing mental health and addiction challenges. Since COVID has started, I am offering my supports online, so through the phone or through Zoom calls like these. I'm also trying to branch off and also starting to sell product. So I'm starting to, my goal is to launch my own self-care line, and I'm starting off with candles that are Afrocentric based in terms of scents. So I'm hoping to launch that in October.
That's excellent. That's excellent. And the BBPA, and I'll tell you a little bit more about the work that we're doing at the BBPA to enable all business individuals. As I mentioned, because I lean towards empowering Black women in business for being 12 years old and having that experience, and I see what that can mean to us. And so I remembered I had a phone call from someone who said, why is it, all your programs a lot of the programs are geared to women. And it's a blend, but the women are the matriarchs. And so, the empowering is important for us and specifically for Black women. So we continue to champion that while we do have programs for men as well. So who's the next person?
Okay, so my name is Ovie. I am the founder of Canadian Black Nurses Alliance. I'm partnered with 5 other Toronto nurses from different scales of community nursing to critical care. We all have about 13 plus years of experience in the industry. Out of the 6 of us, 5 of us are in formal leadership positions. And we recognized that we wanted to create this alliance, kind of mirrored off of BBPA and also Black technology profession networks, but this one is geared to nursing with the goal to advance Canadian Black nurses through empowerment, mentorship, and advocacy. We are at the early stages of building the alliance, so we are working, and we just formulated our vision, our mission, our values, which are empowerment, collaboration, excellence, and advancement and advocacy. And we are looking to have mentorship so that we minimize mistakes in our beginning phases. We've all been divinely aligned, and we're connected through different aspects of our career. And we've been fortunately been able to be aligned in the academic affiliation as well through the McMaster undergraduate nursing program. So our goal and our vision is to scale this out across Canada eventually, and also across other academic schools by using McMaster as, I wouldn't call it our pilot, but our first academic affiliation to then scale it out to other universities and colleges for nursing schools. And the need stems from just the underrepresentation of Black nurses in leadership, academia, research, entrepreneurship. And then through this alliance, our goal is to network, support, and share our resources to help improve those gaps that we recognize in the industry.
Excellent. Great elevator pitch as well. Excellent. Thank you. So, at some point throughout this program, we're all going to, develop the elevator pitches. When we see each other in person, we're going to walk away with a great photo, because, you don't know what you don't know. And the tools, from the small things to the big things that have enabled me in my business, are what are the things that are the things we're going to be sharing with you through the entire journey. And when we wrap up in week 8, we want to have, so if I were to say, so we're going to do a prize, right? We're going to do a prize. What do we have, Uju? A Starbucks gift certificate. $100 is going to go to the person who will immediately send me their professional photo and their bio. Instantly. Your professional photo and bio. $100 Starbucks gift card. Or should we split it up? Maybe we should split it up and make it 4 gift cards for the first 4 ones. What do you think? If you're in agreement, wave. If you're in agreement with wave, or do you just want the $100 card for yourself? Yeah, Nadine Martin says, yes, I want the $100 for myself. Are you in agreement? Or it's Erica and Nadine. So we'll, and Tracy as well. So is that for you want the $100? As I said, okay, so here's what we'll do. The first one that has the photo and bio that sends it immediately, and Uju's going to check. And I don't know if Uju, can we receive that through the chat box?
Yeah, we could try.
Great. So if you send it in the chat box immediately, and then for the other 4 that comes, we'll do a $25 gift card. So the first person that sends me a professional photo and a bio instantly, or your company profile right now. You see, Ovie, is it? Ovie, you're making a face. Why is that?
Sure.
or in the next minute. So the first person that sends a professional bio and photo will get a $100 Starbucks gift card. And the other 4 that sends will get $25 Starbucks gift card. Let them come in. Do we have them in yet?
I haven't seen any yet.
Wow. None, not one. Nandi, what about you? You've got a great photo there. Yasmin? Felicia, I know you have one.
Hi, it's Nandi, but I don't know how to share it.
Send.
I have no idea how to share that.
Share, that's it.
Yeah, it's not allowing me to send.
Or Uju, should we have them send it to the email then? Or is something coming in here?
I just got one from Felicia. I think she's the first one.
Okay, and what about you, Shamel? That's a great photo. And Simone Walters and Marsha Brown?
How are you guys sending it?
And Frances Del Sol, I know you have one. Everyone, we have our executive director for the BBPA, Frances Del Sol. You're going to show your face to everyone, Frances, so they can see you. Everyone, please welcome Ms. Frances Del Sol, the executive director of the BBPA. Frances will be joining me next week. She's a well-accomplished, awesome woman. And I know she's got a great photo. Okay, so do we have the photos? Who's getting the $100 gift card?
Felicia Jones is getting the $100. She was the first person to send me
Congrats,
her bio.
You go!
She was the first person to send her bio and her picture. The second
Okay, now is it a professional? Are you going to send it to me? So, do you mind if I show it to everyone, Felicia?
Sure, go ahead.
So here's the thing with me, Felicia. I'm brutally honest. I'm brutally direct, maybe sometimes too direct. Right, Fran? Am I too direct, Francis?
No, you're just right. You're just right.
Okay, but
Just
know
the amount
this.
of brutal.
Okay, but everything I say comes from the place of love and respect. Do not forget that. So no matter what happens. So if I say the photo is not right, we just have to get it right. And in one of our sessions, we're going to get it right. Everyone that leaves this program is going to walk out with a fantastic bio and photo. So 2 individuals raised their hands. I'll get you in a second. So Felicia, you are ready. So let me have a look at your bio. Oh, how do I open it? Open file.
It might have cut off a little bit, but that's what I have for now. Yeah, I think it might have cut off my butt.
Look at this. You could have gotten a $200 gift card. No, it is really a $100 gift card. That's awesome. That's awesome. So Felicia, that's awesome. And so there's your bio. So ladies, here's the thing. The important thing about business is this. We always have to be ready. And I'm going to share many stories with you. There was a time when I met President Obama way before he was President Obama. I've met some leading individuals. And the reason that I was able to turn these situations into, they say luck, there's no such thing as luck, it's preparation meets opportunity, is because I was always ready, always ready. As a business person, you know, it's investing in yourself is the #1 thing that we must do. And how do we show up when we've invested in ourselves and in our brand and in our business? We show up like Felicia Jones here. You know, she's got a bio, she's got a kick-ass photo, it's ready to go. We know she means business. We want to do business with her because she looks like she's invested in herself and her business. The first investment you're going to make is in your business, is in yourself. You know, if we go back to, how do I do this? There's no one here except for me navigating my path. And so are we getting the other photos in? Are we getting the other photos in, Uju?
Yeah, we got another one from, hold on.
Oh, and Nettie raised
So
her
we
hand.
haven't gotten up to 4 yet. We haven't
gotten up to 4. Everybody, you still have an opportunity for that $25 gift card, everybody. So Nettie has her hand raised. Nettie, do you have a comment? Where is Nettie? Nettie had her hand raised. Did Nettie have a comment?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. No, sorry, that was my finger getting trigger happy there. Sorry about that.
Your finger is ready.
My finger's ready, but the rest of my body is not.
Your finger's ready.
Sorry about that.
So everyone, you still have that $25 gift card available to you. So for the next 4. And so, you know, a state of readiness is important when you're a business person, because, and some of the resources that we're going to talk about is about how to get ready, what ready looks like, what it means. Because, you know, over the last, 30, I won't date myself, 30 years, I've managed many businesses, I've worked in many different environments, but the best opportunities are the ones that sort of shows up in an instant and boom, you're ready, you know? And how you can tell when someone's ready is by their photo. You can always tell the state of someone's business by their photo, you know? And so, and maybe sometimes the photo is even more than it is, because as a person who has a marketing agency, when we build people's brands, we build it beyond them. It's aspiring, it's the shoe they're going to step into. Because what happens is that, you know, people sort of, you know, you sort of see yourself this small, but people see you this big. And we as Black women need to see each other as this big, and we need to live out this big, you know? So the takeaway from tonight's, one of the takeaways from tonight's session is, as you go back to your office or your, you know, wherever you do business, pull your bio together and pull your photo together. And, you know, as I mentioned, at one point when we meet at the BBPA at 180 Elm Street, we will make sure that, you know, you've got a professional photograph ready to go, and we'll work with you with your bio for your business and personal. But it's important that you start that process, because when someone calls you and says, hey, send that bio immediately, you need to have it ready to go immediately. I remember years ago that Mark Burnett, who did Survivor, they called me and they wanted me to work on a program, and they reached out to me on LinkedIn. They loved my profile. I mean, I didn't get the show, but I was invited to participate. And I was invited to participate because of how my brand looks online. So eventually when we get to talking about the marketing in week 5, we're gonna talk through all of those things. And by week 5, we're gonna prep everyone so your business brand is ready to go out the door. All right, so what is next? We have 8 weeks, and this is what we're going to be looking at for the next 8 weeks. So week 2, tonight we're going to lay the foundations. When we say game on, you're here. That means you're ready to go. You're ready to take your business to the next level. You're ready to look at all the pieces that we're going to be discussing over the next 12 weeks to put the foundations together. We're going to give you some tools to take away. If you can, read just some of it until the next time. And, at about in the next 15 minutes, I want to hear from everybody. Part of doing business is sharing your story with the people in your environment. Having that elevator pitch ready. It may not be perfect, but we can start to have our voices heard. So week 2 is going to be what's the plan? It's going to be talking about the entrepreneurship roadmap and looking at how do we get there? What is the plan for our business? And what we'd like you to do in week 2, which we're going to be meeting at the BBPA to do, is bring your actual business plan in. Wherever you're at with it, bring it in. If it's 1 page, if it's, just write 5 things on a page. Where do you want to go? And as you look at your business plan, and as you look at the plan overall, maybe for your life or your personal roadmap, numbers mean a lot. How much money do you want to make? How many customers do you want to have? How many people in your social service organization do you want to serve? All of that will make up part of your business plan. And because I come from a marketing perspective, I look at everything through a marketing lens, everything. You'll notice the way the content was written for this was written by, not the usual, I write it from a marketing perspective. Because at the end of the day, no matter what you have or what you sell, it has to be marketed. The best organizations, the best companies, and they have, I always talk about the example of Kleenex. Everyone says, pass me a Kleenex. Do you have any Kleenex? Kleenex is the name of the brand. It's a facial tissue. But I have one here. It's from Shoppers Drug Mart. And I still say pass the Kleenex, even though it's not the brand name. And although facial tissue is so well known that their brand, everybody calls it Kleenex. No one says petroleum jelly. They say Vaseline. Where's the Vaseline? They still market. And if they have those strong brands with name recognition and they're spending money, who are we when I have a marketing agency and I'm not spending money to market, or I'm the BBP and we're not marketing, or we are, Cynthia Pottinger events and we're not marketing. So it's really important that we think about how we're going to tell our story and sell our story in our business as part of that growth in our business. So what's the plan? That's going to be week 2. Week 3, show me the money. I'm sure you've all seen Jerry Maguire. My clip would be perfect where he says, Jerry, show me the money. He doesn't care about anything else. He's the best agent. He's the best this. He's the best that. Show me the money, right? And so how do we get there? What are the money matters in business? And that's what's week 3 is going to be about. And as we talk about that also, it's talking about, where the money pots are. My mother, who was a businesswoman, I'm 13 of 14 children. My mother knew business, and a lot of what I learned in business came from my mother. One of the things she said to me is, Nadine, she's Jamaican, okay? So she says, it's not money to business. It's not money to business. You just have to you have to know where you want to go and have the desire, and the money will come. And I tell you, my friends, I've proven that 1,000 times over. Yes, we need the money, but you know what? Many times over, if we do not have the plan, the solid plan, and the intention, and where does we want to go as clear as day in our heads, the money will come and it'll pass through you, and it'll pass you by because there's no plan. So yes, I know, and I know a lot of people wrote that lack of access to capital is a challenge, and I know it is. But when in my own business, when I stopped having challenges with finances was when I organized my business. And the moment I organized my business, the money came. So we're going to talk through that in week 3. Then week 4, the bricks and mortar, whether you want to have I have an office, whether you're going to have a shared space. Do you want to buy a building? What does that look like? What are the basic things when you are building a business? What does the bricks and mortar look like? We're going to be talking about that in week 4. Week 5, this is my favorite thing, why Viagra sells. So, again, one of my great examples, everybody knows Viagra, whether you use it or not, whether you know someone who does or not, everybody knows that blue pill. We all know about it. And despite the fact that we all know what that little blue pill is, Viagra spends millions of dollars marketing. And why? They don't want to lose market share. If you're not talking about your business, your competitors are getting ahead. And so we're going to be talking about marketing. This is the space that I live and breathe in. I run an agency based on creative. We manage a lot for clients, at high dollar values with marketing. I was in Honduras a few years ago working on a campaign, and the budget was small, and then they recognized that they needed to ante up the budget. And the group in the United States set a $25 million budget for marketing, $25 million for a project that didn't even start, but that's what they recognized that was needed. And then, the climate in Honduras was very not safe, and someone got murdered, not in our team. And so the company in the United States decided to pull back. And I was like, but you've just spent $25 million on marketing. They said, that's okay. We have lots more where that came from. And so marketing is critical and important. I mean, not everybody has a $25 million marketing budget, that's for sure. But there's ways to navigate around that. And what we're going to talk about in week 5 are those ways. Because, you could have the cure for cancer tomorrow, but if it's not marketed, no lives will be saved. And so marketing and all the tools around marketing communications is very critical for business success, and especially if you're a Black woman. Then week 6, we have resources. We have lots of resources, and also joining me will be different individuals over the next 8 weeks as well. We're going to have individuals that talk about procurement opportunities in government. It's available, it's possible, and it can be done. And we will have individuals that talk about all the different resources that are available. Because what's interesting is that, we all get into the space of we start our business, we're excited. And then we get inundated with all of the work and the planning and all of those things. And we don't have a minute to even look at what's available. But there are resources available, and we're going to be talking about that. And of course, one of the biggest resources that you have is the BBPA, the Black Business and Professional Association. How many of you are members of the BBPA? This awesome organization that is able to provide this awesome program, courtesy of Ryerson's Diversity Institute and Women's Entrepreneurship Knowledge Hub, to you as part of wanting to sort of enable, empower, advance Black women entrepreneurs. So you must become a member because we have a new program that we'll be launching called the BADES program, the Black Business Advisory Implementation and Development Services. And what that program will do is, if you need marketing, if you need your taxes done, if you need your business plan done, all of those things, as a member, you will be able to have those services free of cost. Huge value to our membership there. And it's a huge foundation and a huge step to helping us. And it's not specifically for Black women, it's for all Black business and business professionals, but it is going to be a very valuable resource. So I suggest you get on the list now, because we've already started a pre-registration list. So get on the list immediately. You can email to Uju, office@bbpa.org, if you want to get on the list for the BADES program. But it will be a game changer for Black businesses in Canada. And then week 7, LinkedIn and relationships matter. People do business with who they know. That is for sure. And we're going to have experts come in and talk with us and share tips around what relationships are, how to navigate, how do you work that room? Are you comfortable with working a room? When you walk into a space and there's all kinds of individuals, especially some spaces where there's maybe just you as a Black woman, how do you feel? So let's pause here for a little bit, and maybe in the chat you can just write, how do you feel when you're in a space, when you're in that environment? Are you comfortable? Are you able to sort of just walk up to someone and say, hi, Ruth, I'm Nadine Spencer. I head a marketing communications agency. I help, individuals amplify their voice? What are you working on, and how can I commit to that? Are you able to do that? You know, or, you know, how do you feel when you're in that space? If it was a group of just all white men, how do you feel? Like, how would you walk up to someone and introduce yourself? Are you comfortable? So Uju, you want to read out some of the comments?
Yes, definitely I can. Oh, sorry, I was muted. Yes, I can. Cynthia Pottinger says, I am always a minority, and she put that in caps. I've been forced to get used to it, but I still don't love it. Holden says she's working on her networking skills for sure. Imposter syndrome is a real issue for Solange. That's a really big issue for a lot of women.
A lot of women, yeah.
Annette says she uses it to her advantage because she knows her face and her business story will be remembered. Nandi says she's become comfortable with feeling uncomfortable and to just start speaking.
Okay, great. And so there's a way to navigate the path. And, you know, we've got great resources on how to make it easy breezy. And, you know, it's like a muscle. The more you do it, is the easier it gets. You know, I mean, I could be dropped into a foreign country, which I have, and I do not even speak the language, but somehow I'm able to make it work. And so what we want to do is sort of build that level of confidence in our networking skills as, you know, as Black women, business women, because it is important. People do business with who they know, and the more people you know is the more opportunities you will get. I can't begin to, you know, be thankful and grateful in this time of COVID where it's very tough and very challenging, just by the networking that I've made over the years in my business. You know, people, they reach out and they continue to sort of, you know, ask, you know, and we do business together based on the relationship. So it's important to, you know, have those relationships and nurture those relationships. And there's a way to do it, because relationships are not just a one way. You know, as Maya Angelou says, in life, you can't always, you know, be taking, you know, you have to throw the ball back. And so there's a way to endear people to you and to your business. And we're going to talk through that of how to do that. And then next week, 8, ready, set, go. So the thing I love about my team, whenever my team puts something together, they always put me in it. Which is awesome. So when I saw this, I couldn't have them change it, but here's my team putting it all out there, getting it all, having the photo of me there, getting it all ready. So what do we look like when we're ready? You know, as a business, what do we look like when we're ready? And that's week 8. We're going to take all of this together and have one final document that we leave with in a state of readiness. We're going to have the marketing, we're going to have the resources, we're going to have the networking, we're going to have we're going to talk about the money. And we really want to have the dialogue. We want to have the conversation. We want to have the confrontation. We want to have all of those things. Anything that we are fearful of, anything that we are concerned about, to have that raw, honest, open conversation. You know, I remembered one day when I was in my office many years ago, and it was tough. You know, the journey of an entrepreneur is not an easy one, especially when you've gone through many different things. And I remembered being in my office and my rent wasn't paid, and it was awful. My head was on the ground, literally on the gray carpet. My face was like that on the carpet, because my landlord was going to come back the next day, and I didn't have the money. And, you know, I owed a lot of money, and, you know, it was midnight, and there I was. And I thought, how am I going to get up? How am I going to get up off this, literally, you know, not just off the carpet, but how was I going to get up? I'd already leveraged my credit line, all of those things. But, you know, I did get up, and the journey wasn't easy. But I think if we all share our stories, how we enabled ourselves, how we literally got up into a place where we can thrive, as business owners, it's important. And so I believe in the village learning, that what happens to me might be different than, you know, Lucia or Hetty or Cynthia, but if we share our stories together, we can learn from each other. You know, Marsha might have something that would work for her. She might be in a different industry than myself. Shelly Ann, you know, you might have a different challenge, but somehow collectively we can share our stories, and from our learned experiences in our businesses, we can learn and succeed and grow together. So that is the goal of this initiative. And then of course, you know, from that, you know, moving into more things with the base program and other programs. So what's missing? We're here, and these are the things. These are the first, if you were at the BBPA, this would have been in your swag bag. This would have been in your swag, because I love swag. And this would have been in your swag. As you can see, so we have, you know, the journalists, we have a journal. And I'm not sure if it's going to be this journal, because I truly believe in moleskins. I have many of them. And, you know, as Oprah says, she journals a lot because it's a way of just documenting all the things. And in my journals, and I have hundreds of journals that shares my stories from the days when it was tough and I thought, oh my goodness, is the light going to go on? You know, because it's just so dark. And then the moments, I have a file of the wins that I've had, you know, when my product got on the Oprah list and all these amazing things, when I signed my first like huge deal. And like when with that $25 million contract with the Honduras people, those were big wins. And so those are all in that journal. So when I get to a place of where I get stuck or something gets challenging again, I go back to that. I remember a friend of mine said, Nadine, you should have a happy folder. So my happy folder, and you can't see it if it's mobile, is in my drawer, right? So in my drawer, I've got my happy folder. So whenever things wonderful happens to me, I print it and I put it in that folder. And then when days come, when it gets, you know, and, you know, as life is, you know, sometimes things don't go your way and you have challenges, I go back to that happy folder, because that happy folder shows the resilience that, you know, I've done it before. And, you know, in my mind, I'm that 12-year-old girl in the Spanish Town market, right? And I've done it back then, and I continue to do it. I continue to build. So we can continue to build and do this together. And through this, the next 8 weeks, we're going to talk, we're going to work through, and we're going to plan. It's literally game on. And so in my drawer of success and tips, there's a few things. So I always have to, tonight I'm wearing red lipstick because today was such a very busy day in office. We had huge client meetings, and, you know, I thought the meeting started at 6:30, and then the amazing Uju said, Nadine, we're getting ready to go on now. And that was like 2 minutes to, was it 10 minutes to 6? And in my trusted drawer, I had my red lipstick right here. On goes the red lipstick. Red lipstick is your best friend. Find a color that worked for you. Jesse Norman had, or Kathleen Battle had Russian Red by MAC. And there's they have Ruby Woo and all that, but you can't go wrong with red lipstick. So if I had no makeup on and I had my red lipstick, it's good to go. Because especially in the era of Zoom, you always want to be ready. As we mentioned with Felicia having her photo and she got her $100 gift card, you always want to be ready. And of course, you know, we have the challenge. I've got my granddaughter, I've got the kids, I've got the business, we've got all of that. And then, you know, how do we still maintain that whole, what I call that brand persona? But, you know, you only have one chance to make a first impression. And, you know, I find, you know, as a Black woman in certain spaces, whenever I'm going to a power meeting, which I did yesterday, I've got to make sure I've got this, I've got that. You know, it's all of that, plus the presentation, plus this, plus that, plus the business plan, plus the projections and all of that. And, you know, sometimes some things does give, you know, but these are the little things that, you know, helps to keep it going. And so we have a journal, we've got our red lipstick, and then we've got the bookmark because, you know, as Uju says, you know, because you need to remember where you are to know where you're going, right? So as we have our book, and then these two books. So The Alchemist, I don't know how many of you have read The Alchemist. I'm going to widen my gallery, and everybody just put your hand up if you've read The Alchemist. So many people has read it, and it's still, you know, called on, you know, who's seen it, who's read it. But for me, it was quite a significant meaning in my business journey, because here's this person that travels the world in search of love, right? And there's all these things that happen. But in your space as a business person, we must go through, you know, we must travel the journey. We must go out there, because it is in going out there that we are going to find the things that is going to bring the success that we want. Because if you sit and you never get up from your space, you're not going to see the opportunities. So, you know, some people say it's beginner's luck, it's whatever, it's all of that. But what I recognize, I remembered, you know, being, I'm on the advisory board to the Accelerating Women Entrepreneurs Program. And it's an organization run by the Conscious Capitalism Alliance in the United States. I'm the only woman of color on that board. And I remembered I was in Canada when my friend, I wanted to get my product into Whole Foods because I own a food company. And we got, it's somewhere in my office, we just had our office redone, but it's over there. We got full page editorial, $20,000 value in Food and Drink magazine, huge. You know, I remember Grace had a coconut water ad beside mine. They mentioned Grace, and Grace with millions of dollars, you know, but we were able to get that full page editorial on my product that made it to the White House. So I remember I heard, so because I wanted my product to be in Whole Foods, right? I called my friend and I said, hey, you got to help me get into Whole Foods. So John Mackey, who is the CEO of Whole Foods, I met his colleague, and his colleague says, well, you know, Nadine, I can't just ask John to put you into Whole Foods. We don't do that. That's not how the relationship works. So I said, okay. But then I heard that John Mackey was going to be speaking in Texas. So I booked myself on a JetBlue flight. I drove to Buffalo, booked myself on a JetBlue flight, flew down to Texas. And when I got there, they said, oh, it's sold out. You know, you'll have to stand at the back and all of that business. I thought, that's not happening for me. So I stood at the door. So here's one of my power moves. Whenever you walk into a space, never just walk in the room, ever. What happens is that the door frames you. So you stand by the door and you pause for a moment, and then you walk in. Because as people are watching you come into, and there's two reasons for that. One is you get a chance to quickly scan the room and see where the players are. You know, someone said to me, Nadine, the thing about you, you're great at reading a room. You know exactly who's who and what's what. And it's a skill that you develop over time. So you never ever just walk into the room because you never want to be rushed. You always want to show up like, you know, you're poised, you've got it. So you stand by the door. Like I see Fran's door right there. Fran, can I ask you to go in and do that and do a walk-in? Francis, I'm talking to you. You're shaking your head. You're like, absolutely not. So what you see, my camera doesn't pivot to my door. This is why I need to get a camera, Uju, the one that moves so I can have shown everybody. So you stand by the door. Yeah, and you stand for a moment, and then you scan the room very quickly, and then you walk in, you know? And so that's what I did. So I get to the room, and I looked around, and I walked in. And guess what I did? I walked to the very front of that room. I'm not, the back was all filled. I'm like, There were 6 seats at the front, all empty. I just walked up and sat down. Boom, front seat. So I sat there, and then guess who sits beside me? Who comes and sits beside me? John Mackey from Whole Foods. So he says, hello, what's your name? I said, I'm Nadine Spencer from Q Gourmet in Canada. And you are? I said, he says, I'm John Mackey, CEO of Whole Foods. I said, pleasure to meet you, John. And then we started chit-chatting. And that's how I got on the Whole Foods board. That's how I got on that board, Accelerating Women Entrepreneurs. Because I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. And you have to, you know, they say you have to be willing to take up space. Take up space. And so when you walk into that space, that is, you know, is it luck, is it opportunity, right? But The Alchemist, it talks about that. It talks about when you leave your space, what can happen. And I got to tell you, a lot of what I do in my business now and the success that I've had came from that one little meeting that I was bold enough to walk at the very front and sit down, would not be moved. What are they going to tell me? Move? I belong there. And so that's important. And then the other book I would like that you're going to be getting is the E-Myth. My business changed when I read the E-Myth. And a friend to me, a mentor, and you know, and one of the sections will talk about mentorship, because mentorship is so critical and so key. Said to me, you know, Nadine, I see you in your business and what you're doing, but he says, I can tell you have not read the E-Myth. And the E-Myth is about the myth of what we say we look at being an entrepreneur. And I'm sure that many of us who struggle in our business is we have not looked at, you know, the formal aspects of what the business should be. So the E-Myth talks about working in your business, working on your business, not in your business. And there's a big difference. And the moment you can recognize that, you're going to make a shift, a profound shift. Because either you do this, either you say, geez, well, maybe this is really isn't what I want to do, you know, or you then start framing up and shoring up your business agenda. You know, so one of the examples that they talk about, maybe you're starting a business. For example, Cynthia, I'm picking on you just because, you know, you were so bold enough to share your story. How many people work with you now?
I outsource to a team of maybe one.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's
Okay.
not consistent business. It's not consistent work. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you have an employee policy?
I do not. I tend
Not
to
at the
contract
moment.
out. That's correct. Not at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I won't, and thank you for being so kind as to share that with us. You know, when I started, I didn't have one either. I didn't have a training manual. I did not have an organizational structure, because you figure, well, it's just me. I don't need that, right? But the foundations of a business, you know, when you register, so just by show of hands, how many of your businesses are registered? So you've gone to the government and you've registered your business. 2 participants have raised their hand, and Andrea, you've raised your hand. 3, and yours. So we have maybe 20, I think six have raised their hand like this, and then 3 up. So the first thing you want to do is register your business, you know, because if a business is a legal entity, and until you've registered business, you're not a legal entity. And so you're not in business. And if we want to take advantage of the capital that's available and the procurement opportunities that's available, and even the opportunities that's going to be available through the BBPA Bates program, we have to be registered as a business. When someone is going to consider you in a serious way, you have to be registered. Because you know what it's saying? It's saying I've taken the next step in moving from, you know, what is a hobby to having a business to be reckoned with, you know? And people, when I say people want to do business with who they know, they want to do business. They say iron sharpens iron. You know, so when I walked into Whole Foods, yeah, my business definitely was not making the money that it should, but I was registered. They could find me with a website. I had all the beginnings of what it would take for them to partner with me, which they did. How many of us have a website? Show of hands. If you can show me your hands by just the hand button, I want to sort of get a good number. How many have a website? Great. So if when we started, I think the survey showed, how many did the survey show, Uju, of participants that had businesses? We had, I think, 60% of them had businesses?
Yeah, 68%.
68%, which was how many, what's the number?
68 of 37, that was roughly 28 people.
Okay, and 3 of us have websites. So by the end of this program, everybody, and Hetty, you have a website as well, right? Great. Awesome. So by the end of this, and Nandi has put her hand up, and Layla as well has a website. So by the end of this program, we want to be what I call foundation ready. You know, the goal is that if we're gonna make game-changing moves, if we're gonna grow an economy for our children and ourselves and our community, you know, we want to be in a state of readiness. Because one of the things we find in the work that we do with the BBPA, and even just the work that I do with other organizations, I recognize that the biggest challenge to us as you know, in the Black women, in, you know, or, you know, right now we're working with the businesses in Little Jamaica, and again I say, you know, I say we're not ready, and I get it. You know, for the businesses that we work with, you know, one person said to me, listen, I have to be up at 6 o'clock in the morning to start opening my restaurant. I have my kids I have to push off to school. I have this, I have that. It's hard for me to have a marketing plan. It's hard for me to have a business plan, all of those things. But here's the thing. If we really want to change and make a shift and become the next, you know, the women that I just showed you, you know, it starts with a foundation. And if you, I remember for Christmas a few years ago, I got the Oprah Winfrey, I think she was 30 at the time, anniversary. And they were talking through just her life. And when you saw there was a time when she got very structured, when she had someone manage her. And what's interesting, I remembered meeting a woman who worked with Oprah, and she said, you know, Oprah hates going on the horse. She hates being on the cover of the magazine. She hates all that. But she's hired people, and she does what they tell her. She said they make her do it, and she does it. She listens, right? So part of the coaching and the work that we do in business, we may not want to do it. We may not want to do the business plan. We may not want to go to that networking event. When we write a plan for a client, we will do a whole, you got to do your website, you got to do all these things. But part of the work is that you have to go out and sell yourself. Because it's when you go out and you say, hello, I'm Desiree Wills, I do this, I do that, then someone knows who you are. And then when it comes time, even if they don't need your service, someone else can refer, So for example, it's Ovie from Black, am I saying your name correctly, Ovie?
Ovie.
Ovie, sorry, Ovie. It's important, and your elevator pitch was bang on, right? But it would be great that we all have that same bang on presence, and all of this is what I call foundations for business success. It's not going to happen, without it. And the challenges that as a business owner or entrepreneur that I've had, if only I had read that E-Myth from day one. If I had read that from day one, I would have saved myself hundreds and thousands of dollars. But I remembered I had a friend, she says, Nadine, don't beat yourself up. You have an MBA in business. You do. You might not have gone to the MBA school, but you've got that MBA in business because of your experiences. Nothing can top that. Nothing can top that. Nothing can take it away. The best thing I can do with my experiences is to share. When the bank didn't give me the money, what did I do? When I didn't get the networking opportunity, what did I do? I can share all of these things as part of this program, and then the next step is to build out each and every one of you, each and every one of your businesses that so you're able to go to the next level. For example, the federal government, they have what's called a low dollar value procurement opportunities for everybody, but we're advocating for that for Black individuals, Black businesses and professionals, and then specifically for Black women. The Minister Mary Ng, their mandate is to double the amount of female entrepreneurs by 2025. So when we sit at those tables, Francis and I, we say, what about Black women that looks like us? Because our challenges are very different than Karen Walker's challenges, And so the only way that's going to happen is to be in a state of readiness in your business. And so I'm going to stop there. Does anyone have any questions or comments before I go? I'm just going to read the chat out. Any questions or comments?
So I had a question, just maybe it can be addressed in the upcoming weeks, but I'm also doing my own research on it, on just dual entities. So registering as a nonprofit and profit. Just I'm finding out that there's more grants and funding for profit businesses than there's nonprofit. So just navigating how to register dually and do that.
Okay. So I think, we're going to have our treasurer, Michael Pinnock, who's a genius when it comes to that kind of conversation. And he's going to be on. And so I think he's going to be on, but I'm making note of this question, Ovie, and then when he comes on, we can discuss that more in person, like more fulsome, okay? Any other questions, comments?
I think one more thing I'll say is thank you for having this platform. That's I think above every other question and comment, I think everybody on here would probably share the exact same feelings, but thank you so much for having this platform and for even moving things along during the climate that we're living in with COVID and plus, just dealing with race issues as well. So it's very important to go somewhere where you can get the support, get the information, and see women that look like yourself and who come from very diverse backgrounds, whether professionally or personally. So that's very grateful and thankful for that.
Of course, thank you. And thank you so much for sharing that. It just really touches my heart. You know, as I mentioned to you, this is my calling in life. It really is. And I think, you know, in every sad story, I remember there was a time when I looked at my life and I thought that story of me being really like an indentured servant to this woman who took great advantage of me was such a bad thing. But I remembered one day I decided that it would be my strength, because a lot of what I know in business comes from that. And, you know, I'm not ruthless, but I'm very sure about what I want, and I'm very sure about what I don't want. And I'm not afraid. You know, I remember somebody wrote that fear. And I'll tell you this, you know, that word fear, it's a word. You know, if we can take away one thing from today, that fear is something that, you know, is built in your mind. I remember many years ago, I took a course and they talked about, and it was a game-changing course for me, because that's when I recognized and I realized who I was as a human being. Because, you know, what happens in your life, you carry that around, you know. So I sort of saw myself as this 12-year-old, very disadvantaged person. And then I took this course that, you know, woke up. I came alive in this course. And I recognized that my baggage, the past, had nothing to do with my future. And I dictate my future. And that fear just does not exist for me. And friendships and mentorship is so key. And, you know, one of the things we must seek to do, when someone in your life does not stand with you, you cut them off immediately. You know, Maya Angelou says, if someone takes a follicle of hair from your head and you let it happen, very soon you'll be bald. You know, and so don't let someone take from you. You know, when someone says, "Oh, Nadine, you're this," you know how people, they joke around and they say, "Oh, you're so this, you're so that." Don't have it. Don't have it. People say, "Oh, Nadine, you're so serious." It's not that I'm serious. It's just that I refuse to let anyone take from me in that way, in a negative way, put their negativeness on me. And that is the first part of who we need to be as women, as leaders, as Black women. You know, and it is the path that takes you through. That is what happens that lets me sit at the very front of that row beside John McKay. I refuse to let anybody tell me no. I don't have it. I don't know what no is, because I can't. I cannot. And so if there's one thing that I hope that we all take away at the end, is to stand so proud in who we are as Black women, with our wonderfulness, our skin, our hair, our cultural way, our vibe. You know, that is what makes us special. That is what makes us unique. No apologies, unequivocally, no apologies. And when we own that and we see ourselves and own our light, my friends, we will succeed. We will move forward. And listen, I'm not going to tell you that the road is not going to get hard sometimes, because it does. It continues to. And sometimes the challenge is that even within our own space, even within each other, we take down. But we have to let that roll off our backs. We have to keep focused. We have to be intentional about where we're going, what the focus is, and not one step back. You know, I have a very good friend, and we have a great relationship. And one of the things she says, sometimes, you know, I'll be going into a meeting and I'm thinking, oh, I think, you know, maybe I should be asking this for the price, or maybe I should be negotiating that. You know, life is a negotiation. You give, you take, and all of that. So we're all, no matter where we are on any level, we're always going through that. I remember reading that George Bush at the time, you know, had somebody tell him to not put his hand in his pocket in a certain way because it made him look like not powerful and strong. Just understand this in everything we do in this world, as we go on our path. There's someone that's a friend or a mentor that you can trust that's going to tell you, you know, you're not doing this right. You need to work on this. You know, my good friend Cheryl, she said, Nadine, if I have a blind spot, tell me my blind spot, because, you know, I may not necessarily see my blind spot. You always want that one person that you trust, as I say, that takes it from a place of love and respect, that tells you the blind spot. And so in this group, you know, I want us to be open, that you can share candidly. When we see you in person, we'll have a a non-disclosure agreement. So if you discuss anything here, I mean, this meeting is being taped, but if there's anything that you want to discuss in a private way, you let me know. Francis and I are here to, you know, coach you through, to just discuss, you know, the next part of this is the mentorship piece, because we're going to have days in your business where you just need to call on somebody. You need to say, hey, what about this? You know, am I doing this right? How can I do this? And so after this 8 weeks, you know, we then, for who would like to continue, we move into that mentorship piece, because so much can happen for us as successful business entrepreneurs. And, you know, I remember being in an office one day and the woman said, Nadine, you sign the front of the check and I sign the back. And you know what I thought? I love signing the front of the check. I do, because what it means to me is that I'm an enabler of possibilities for people. And a success for me is, you know, from I think I showed you the first thing is that my granddaughter, my awesome, beautiful granddaughter, who's just so smart and so brilliant. And when I think about her and the world that I want her to live in, we must do this, you know. Me being president of the BBPA is just a way of extending my skill set to women who look like me. You know, maybe if you were having a challenge on a journey, you don't know, am I going to do this? I've done it. You know, I've done it, and I still continue to do it because, you know, it's not done, you know, and I still continue to do it. And we're here with the BBPA and the work that we do to share and foster growth. And as I say, you know, Wendy Sukier from Marston, she will be here 1 week to talk about, you know, the work that they do in empowering women, because these resources are available, loans are available, monies are available, grants are available, but we have to be ready. And until we're ready, we won't be able to capitalize on those opportunities. Until we're able to stand strong in our strength, in our beautiful skin, you know, and be very confident in that, we're not going to be able to sort of really own that space. And that's what we want to do. So I'll pause here for a little bit. And if any questions, Uju, any questions that I could respond to?
Right now, we don't have much questions. We just have comments.
And you're telling me I only have 10 minutes. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe that it's time already.
Yeah.
I had a quick question.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I was just wondering how you would feel about, in the spirit of community and empowerment, if we all followed each other on social media as a way to support one another and endorse one another.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so let's do that now. Mine is MS Nadine Spencer, Ms. Nadine Spencer on all platforms. My daughter Jen set that up for me, which is awesome. And also, you know, at the BBPA, we have a business directory, a Black business directory. Please go online and register your business there, because I would love to, you know, someone talked about having a shop that does crafts, and, you know, and, you know, part of what we need to do is sort of, you know, support each other, buying in the Black community, supporting Black businesses, Black business professionals. Right, Andrea? So we've got 10 minutes. My goodness, the time has gone by so quickly. So we want to come by. Now it's 7 now. So next week you're going to be getting your swag with all your goodies that we're going to be reading, that we're going to be using, and as part of our toolkit. I believe in toolkits. I believe in, you know, the takeaway in what to do next, what's the resources. And the way, you know, I believe in learning is that, you know, when someone tells you 12 ways to do things, you're like, okay, and then what? And, you know, I believe in that example learning, because I sort of think through the vision. What do we see? You know, I'm sort of a visual person. So maybe before we wrap up, maybe I can have some words from our executive director, Francis Del Sol, who is going to be joining me next week.
Madam President, you love putting me on the spot, but that's okay. I do. That's okay. You know, I'm so happy that we got a good turnout tonight. And I mean, despite the fact that I have so much experience in the corporate world, I learned so much tonight. I can only imagine what the young entrepreneurs on this line are gathering from this discussion tonight. So I can only look forward with bated breath and excitement to next Tuesday.
Thank you. Thank you, Francis. Any questions? I see a lot here. Everyone's sharing their information. The recording will definitely be available. Any questions? Or you know what, also, so, you know, we've listed all the points that we wanted to discuss, and Cynthia and someone else also raised about registration. If there's anything that you would like to see covered, anything in particular, please do not hesitate to add that to either the chat box here or the email. You can email office, that's Uju, at bbpa.org. You can also email me, president@bbpa.org. You can imagine my email is just nuts. So Uju's probably easiest. But I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for this journey that we're going to take together, because I know I'm looking forward to learning from you as well. So
sorry, Nadine, next week is the session online or at your
no,
center?
It's going to be at the BBPA. And so just to let you know, the BBPA at 180 Elm Street, our conference room accommodates 100 people, 120. And so we can easily facilitate, you know, 40 of us and be social distance. I know Fran had gone out and gotten the hand sanitizers. We have masks for everybody. So we're really looking to mitigate any risk in terms of, you know, cross contamination and things like that.
Is there parking?
Pardon?
Is there parking?
There is a parking lot around the corner, and after 6, it's $5. So maybe we can start at 6:10, just so everybody can get into the parking lot at $5, because it's 180 Elm, so parking is a little challenging in front of the building. But around the corner on the side street, and Uju will put that information up, we will be able to have parking. I know a lot of people are saying they prefer online, so I guess we'll do a poll and based on the numbers, but in person it's so much better, because, you know, there's so much, you know, I find that in person there's so much more to the cadence of it. So I think maybe we'll probably still do it in person. So do show up, and then we'll stream it online as well. I think that might be something.
What we can do is to have the last couple of weeks, maybe from week 6 to the end, or week 5 to the end, is in person. Because 1, people need to pick up their goodie bags. 2, we need to do the photography session for everyone, just so that they can have their bios and professional pictures taken. And then the LinkedIn one as well is something that people want to be in person for. So we can split it and have the last 3-4 weeks or session in person, and then the other ones online, because I see that a lot of people are preferring online.
Yeah, and then I see someone is asking if there's a hybrid option, online and in person. Difficult for moms with young ones, possibly have a few key in-person dates. I mean, the definite in-person date you want to show up to as much as you can, and if you let us know early, if the BBPA space doesn't work, we could, just down the road is the YWCA, which has it's a lot larger. We'd be able to do some things in that space, and maybe for the marketing one, we'll do it there, because what I'd like to do for the individuals who, if you don't have a profile photo, is use that session to take those photos there. So that is your takeaway, and so let's just keep connecting. You know, maybe one of the things we could also do, if you're open to it, everybody, is to have a WhatsApp group. You know, so again, if you're open to a WhatsApp group where we can connect around this training and what's happening and just keeping each other updated, we could do that as well. So do let us know in the chat if you're open to having that information, if you're open to having a WhatsApp group together. You know, I see this as a long relationship, you know, building into the future. If there's an opportunity that I hear about and I know about your business, you know, Simone, if I know what you're doing, Delofante, if I know what you're doing, then I could say, hey, when someone reaches out to me for an opportunity, I can say, you know, Delofante does this, Desiree does this, Anika does this, you know, Monica does this. And so I think it's important that we stay connected. Any other questions?
Yeah, it looks like everybody loves the idea of a WhatsApp group.
Great.
I wanted to ask, I don't have a business, and basically I'm trying to gather information. Is this still a good platform for me to be a part of? Because it seems like majority of the people here already has a business.
Letty, I hope I'm saying your name correctly. Absolutely. If you're thinking of starting a business, and you know what's interesting, even if you're not starting a business, you know, this is for entrepreneurs. And we want to sort of help you build size, scale, network, grow, all the things that is going to move you from here to there. You will always get something from it because, you know, you heard Fran say that, you know, she's been in the corporate world for a long time and, you know, she's gotten some things out of this meeting. So I think just in terms of even just self-development, any opportunity to learn is a good opportunity.
Okay, great.
Yeah, and we welcome you back every week.
Mr.
All right.
Spencer.
Yeah, Joan, go ahead.
I just had a quick question. So interestingly, because everything is online now, when I saw the course, I thought it was going to be online because I'm coming to you from Ottawa. So I'm not even in your neck of the woods.
That's okay, Joan. We'll have this available. We'll have this platform still available that you can join in from anywhere, you know, to be here. So Joan, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So then my two other follow-up questions. I have two other friends who are starting out and doing their thing. Is there still space for women to join?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Yes. We'll have to send your care, we'll have to send your care package to you in Ottawa.
Oh, they're all in Ottawa, so that's the other thing.
That's okay. That's okay.
The Ottawa crew.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
Okay, and then I want to find out, how would I access your team if we were trying to talk with someone about branding, as in like from a business angle?
Yeah, so
you
email.
I send that email to...
Yeah, I think Danielle's here from our team. Danielle, are you here? I thought I saw her online, but you emailed Danielle, which is DANIELLE at brandeq.com. I'll type it in the chat. Uju, can you type it in the chat for me, please? So that's Danielle at brandeq.com.
All right. Thank you, good lady. God bless you.
Yeah, thank you so much. So Leela had a question. Leela's hands up. Go ahead, Leela. Or is it your hand just hit the button? You'd have to unmute. Leela, you're good? Kadian raised her hand. Go ahead, Kadian.
I just wanted to say thank you for everything that you're offering and what you're doing. I really, really appreciate it because I've been in business for 2 years and I haven't really found a platform like this to kind of guide me. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you're going to be teaching and offering. But once again, just to say thank you.
You're very welcome. And thank you for being here. Thank you.
We have one question from Annette. And it says, I'm in the application and GMAT process. How important is an MBA to entrepreneurship? Perhaps an offline or future question.
Yeah, so you know, education is key, and I would never say education is not important. However, I also do believe in practicality. You know, I learn, I think a lot of it, I think always being open to learning is important, you know? And I believe in learning in the practical way and the theoretical way. So while you're pursuing your master's, it's so important to get practical experience as well, because you know that's what makes it work. It's interesting because when I write business plans, so I'll give you a little trick to how, you know, the secret sauce, and you'll hear little gems of how, you know, what is the secret to my success, if you will. But whenever I write a business plan, I always go back to my thesis statement in university. You know, you have a thesis and then you have your 4 points, you support it, and then you have your counter argument that refutes it, and then you come back with your conclusion. I write every perspective from that. And we pretty much get, you know, 95% of every deal we pitch, we get it. And we do that for that reason. And so I always say that education is important, because if I didn't go to university and learn how to manage a paper in that way, my approach to writing proposals would be very different. you know, and then of course I add, you know, the sauce of the marketing, which is you'll learn in week 5. But again, it's the way we always get called back when we submit, whether it's a grant or a proposal. Yeah, so education, key, but continue with the practical as well. Okay, so in our, any other questions?
I think that's it for questions, and we're 5 minutes over time, but you know, it looks like everybody's really excited about today, so it just means that next week is going to be even more exciting. So if you haven't joined the WhatsApp group, I just shared the link on the group, so just click on the link and you'll be on the WhatsApp group. Then we can share information, subsequent weeks, and you know, address and everything easily to everyone, and you don't miss out on any information.
Yeah, and I just have one final word. My stepfather always said to me, Nadine, you must always seek to be primus inter pares. It's Latin. It means first among your peers, and especially as a Black woman, you know. And this primus inter pares, I write it on everything that I do, you know. Because it's a standard of excellence. It's a standard of excellence that I seek to aim for all the time. You know, I don't always get there, you know, because you have your days when the red lipstick is not on and it's not primus inter pares. But I remembered once I was in New Jersey. So again, here I am in New Jersey in a very wealthy spot. And I was the only Black antiques dealer because I sold antiques. And my branding has always been on point. So they asked me to take the display in the front, which is huge because everyone's coming. Hillary and Bill coming. And here I am, like my display's at the front. This Black woman from Canada is in New Jersey and her display's at the front. And so my booth was just as beautiful. So I'm sitting there in the booth and in walks, I'm gonna cry. I hope I don't cry. In walks Alice Walker. Alice Walker walks in. And something happened. Something happened. She didn't say a word to me. She looked at me and she looked at my booth and she just came in and she just put her hand on me and she just did this. And she said nothing. She said nothing. And my husband at the time looked, he goes, oh my gosh, I felt that. I felt that. Alice Walker looked and she saw me as a Black business woman in New Jersey, the front of the lobby, fabulous space in this. I'm the only Black woman. And she just held me, just an acknowledgement that yes. And so that's what's possible. That is what's possible. And I hold on to that moment. That moment is in my happy folder because when things go dark, I remember that moment. I remember that moment. It was spiritual, it was deep, and it was affirming. It was so affirming. And what I want for each of us here is to have a moment. Maybe it's not at the Alice Walker, maybe it's something else, but that is what's possible when you aim for excellence. Primus inter pares is your motto, and you are ready. Because when I got there to that show, and they said, do you have stock? I was like, yes, I'm ready. My branding was great, everything was great. So I want us to take that away. You know, and that's what we want to do over the next 8 weeks. So thank you. Thank you for taking this journey. I thank Ryerson and the Diversity Institute and the Women's Entrepreneurship Knowledge Hub and Wendy Souquier for supporting this, and my team at the BBPA, Francis Del Sol, and the board of directors for, you know, we have big dreams but and big ideas and goals, but you always need the people who say, I see you. I see what it is you want to do, and let's do it. And that is the team we have at the BBPA. And we see you, and we want to do this together. So thank you.
Nadine, one last thing. Is there anything the participants should get prepared for next week?
No, I don't think so. But if there is anything, we'll send an email, and we'll alert you in the WhatsApp group, and we'll send an email. You know, because I really want this to be interactive. But one of the things you could do when you come in next week is that if you have a situation that you want to, you know, talk about, we can do that together. Like, you know, our executive director, Francis Del Sol, is a procurement specialist, you know, a guru. So if you have questions on you know, how to do a bid, how to do this, there's things that we can work on together. So just send them forward before the next session. Okay?
Sounds great.
Great. Thank you, everyone.